Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Laura, aka PURPLEXEDQT. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning subscriber, well, welcome back. Alright, so there's a lot to this case. If you've been living under a rock, let me give you a little background of it. So on May 15th of 2021, a 4-year-old boy was kidnapped right from his room, and the nation has seen this all on video. As there were cameras hanging over his room, we watched from the time the guy walked in until the time he walked out. Then unfortunately, we see him come back 2 hours later and debate taking the other kid, but decided not to and changed his mind. And unfortunately, all of this, or fortunately, however way you want to look at it, is all caught on video. There have been tons of conspiracy theories about what is going on with the case. Everything from the boy was dead before he even picked him up to, the mom did it, the dad did it, tons of theories. Are any of them wrong? You can't say any of them are wrong because we don't know anything. We don't know everything. We actually know very, very little. But personally, I'm not going to go with conspiracy theories. I'm only going to go on the facts that we have. Now, what came out yesterday was one of the facts that we know is one of the neighbors of Monica, who was the guardian that was watching the kids while the dad disappeared because he was on the run. Jose Alvarado. He checked his security cameras for any footage that might help investigators, and what we learned was that 10 weeks prior for Little Cash being left dead, the teenager that abducted him, who was 18 years old, Darren Brown, he was skulking down the street, opening Alvarado's backyard gate, peering in before quickly walking away. He saw him looking at Sherrod's house. Now, how Monica Sherrod plays into this, she was taking care of Cash and his twin Carter. She has said that she was dating the twins' dad, which is Trevor. He's a 31-year-old construction worker, and then he left town in March when a court ordered him to rehab. That left Sherrod to take care of the boys for a couple of months. According to the news reports, the mom had no idea. The mom was named Melinda Seagroves. Now, the catch with the mom is the mom did not know where her twins were. The father had full custody. And now, as someone who's been in a custody fight with an addict, I can tell you this. They gave a known addict and criminal full custody of 2 boys. I can only imagine how bad the mom is. So everybody wants to paint it out, especially the mom, that she's this perfect woman and she's such a nice lady and she had no idea where her twins were. For the courts to give, and the courts can, be wrong, but for the courts to give a known drug addict and criminal and violent criminal, which I'm going to get to in a minute, full custody, the mom is that much worse. So I don't want everybody thinking poor Melinda Seagroves, because I can guarantee you she is 10 times worse than Monica or the father or anybody. So I actually feel worse for Carter now than I did prior. And I really mean that. So in 2018, Trevor was arrested by deputies from the Harris County Sheriff's Office for assaulting his father, Roger GERNON, during a dispute over a credit card bill. When Roger told his son that he was going to call the police, Trevor grabbed the phone right away, bloodied his dad's arm with his fingernails, and elbowed him in his chest. Charged with misdemeanor assault and interference with an emergency telephone call, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 68 days in jail. Now, in addition to assault of the family members, GERNON has a history of theft, fraud, and drug possession. His most arrest for the possession of narcotics in 2020. He was previously charged with possession of methamphetamine in 2016, and his rap sheet includes a range of other crimes. Now, that was his rap sheet going back to, if the kids were 4, the kids were born in roughly 2016. 17, 19, 20, yeah, they're 2017. So they gave a father full custody who had possession of meth and a rap sheet of other crimes, after these kids were born. So that only makes me believe the mother is far worse than Monica or, I mean, he had full custody, not even shared custody. That is full custody. You don't get full custody being a full-on drug addict unless the other parent is that much worse. That's why you can't automatically blame the mom. You can't automatically blame Monica. That leads me to believe that the mom is that much worse. And maybe the biological mom did this. Maybe the biological mom is way shadier than people think she is. And that I'm basing on pure facts. Pure facts of knowing how custody works. And the courts are not giving 2 kids to a drug addict unless their other parent is that much worse. So, especially a father, no less. So this mom is far worse than Monica is. Now, what's really sad is the jogger that found Cash. She has a 3-year-old herself, and she said that every time she sees a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, she busts out crying, and it's just a trigger for her. She's like, my own daughter is like a trigger. Sometimes she'll say something, and sometimes I'll cry, because even though I didn't know the child, he was robbed of his life. So it's been really hard. It's been really hard just to process everything. And no matter how much you try to move on, you just can't unsee what you saw. And that was what her quote exactly. And it's really sad. So let me tell you what I actually found, though. And I have to thank somebody for this. Let me get into that. All right. So today we're going to discuss something that Missy 007 had sent me last night at about 3:30 in the morning. And I feel it's pretty important. Now, you guys know how I feel on Cash's case. First, I believe that Carter is the one that let him in through that door when you see Carter walking back. I also believe that Monica's not involved. I could be wrong, but I don't feel she's involved. I think she's high as a kite. And there's definitely somebody else involved, though. I do believe that it was Brown both times. I do believe that was him that took the kids. Oh, who he did it for, I don't know. But the one thing that was pointed out to me last night, which I'm going to show you guys, is there was definitely somebody involved. I also don't believe the dogs were there. I have a very big dog, and part pit bull, and he barks even when Sage comes home. If I come home. If anybody, doesn't matter who it is. Even in the backyard. Even if he's in the backyard and somebody's back there with him and Sage's coming through the front door, he'll still bark because who dropped her off? I can't possibly imagine 3 pit bulls and not one sound. No, even somebody in the backyard. There's no way. So I believe for a fact that the dogs just weren't there. Where they were, I don't know. Maybe they went to the ASPCA that same day. There's a lot of stuff the cops have left out and not telling us anything. But you guys also know I'm not into all these crazy conspiracy theories saying he was killed at the house. There's no evidence of any of that. Having a bunch of 17 or 18-year-olds having a pocket knife. Come on, Dayton's got a pocket knife. Means nothing. It's normal. What's his name? The son having guns. Pictures of guns on Facebook. Hello, it's Texas. Definitely not out of the norm. I personally base stuff on facts. And there's a lot of facts that people are overlooking. Fact number 1, she was a drug addict. That plays a big part in this. That she's going to do and say things that are just not right. 2, she didn't have to keep the kids. Even after Trevor dropped them off, she didn't have to keep them. She could have given them away, given them somewhere else if they were such a nuisance to her. There was no reason for her to keep them other than she actually liked them. She wasn't getting any money for them. She wasn't getting from the state from them. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to keep them. So in my opinion, and again, just my opinion, it's preposterous to automatically assume that she's so bad just because she's a drug addict. Hey, I was a drug addict. I probably would have acted the same way. She's scared. She's confused. She's hurt. She knows she might be in trouble. I mean, there's a lot of emotions that go with being an addict. I will not condemn an addict without facts. I just won't, and nobody should. You know, okay, she lived like shit. She was a drug addict. She was messy. She was a drug addict. Was the house gross? Yeah, it is, but so are a lot of houses that are of drug addicts. Secondly, I heard people say, oh my God, when I was a kid, I could never have, I could have never been slept that long. Well, guess what? I'm a mom of twins, and there were times I slept till 9, 10, 11 o'clock. There was one time I woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought they were all dead. And they weren't. They were just sitting downstairs playing and said, Mom, we're hungry. They just didn't feel like waking me. So, you know, they wouldn't always wake Grandma. When we were living with Grandma, they wouldn't always wake Grandma. They wouldn't always wake Daddy. It's just the way it is. And as a mom of twins, I can tell you, they don't always wake you up on time. You don't always have an internal clock. Most of the time you do, but not every time. So I'm really frustrated with people that are coming up with these ludicrous theories based on nothing. So let's look at something actually based on fact. That fact is that there are 2 people there or more, and I'm going to prove it. I want to thank Missy for this evidence footage, and I'm going to point it out. And for some reason, it's going to kick back to this screen every time I close it. I'm not really sure why, but it will. All right. You see this light right here? It's a reflection. Now, some people are mistaking this for a window. This is not a window. This is a wall. This is the window right here. That's the only window. This is a wall. This is a reflection of the wall, not the window. Some people were getting pretty confused about that, and I want to point that out. This reflection is coming from something over here. The lights match up, the trees match up. So this light has nothing to do with this light. This light really doesn't mean much until you watch this video. This is only about 11 seconds, but I'm going to play it over and over and over. And this right here is coming from here, okay? Now you see shadows. I'm not going to be shadow person. I'm not AD. But take a look at this. That light, I'm going to back up. That is not a reflection. That is a definitive light. It could be a small flashlight. It could be a cell phone. But that right there, that is a definitive light. That's not a car headlight. Now, this light hasn't moved. That is not a car headlight. That is not a motion detector light. That is a light. And that light is bright, coming right in. Now, you can see some shadows around it. But to determine that those shadows aren't trees or whatever, you can't. Now, if you want to get conspiracy, you can see a head, you can see an arm, but I'm not going that far. But that is a definitive light that's unmistakable. That's not a shadow. That's not a car light. That is a definitive light in the back. Or in the side, wherever this is. It goes off. Shadows change. There it is again. I'm going to pause that. We're going to back that up. There it is again. It has moved a little. I'm going to go back to the beginning. It has moved a little. Now, these lights on him are his reflection from his zippers or his sweatshirt. This light has not moved. This light has. One, fades out, and you saw it was like in the middle, and it moved again. And it's lighter. Watch it again. One. Shadows move. Moved over. Moved up. Okay. Now, watch this. Now we're going to put this in 360 view. There's the window. Here are the shadows. You're going to see the light around here. Light. Light. Watch the shadows. And play it again. See the shadows? So once again, somebody's there. This is not a mistake. This is not anything. You really see it in 360 view. That's the light the first time, right where my cursor is. Second time. Try that again. You see it moved? Now, if you look at the shadows, do the shadows mean anything? His walking does not match these shadows, is what I'm trying to point out. Him walking would have produced different shadows. Trees would produce the different shadows. This is kind of, I mean, it's definitely not a face or anything or a body, but I can't really figure out what it is, but it's not him walking, giving a shadow off, is what my point. That's not a shadow of him. So I think that was pretty important. I know you guys probably tell me, play it again. Something back here is causing the shadow to begin with. And then it retracts. So let's watch. Now, if you do a 360 view from this way, you really don't see anything. I tried going all the way around to see if it would give me a real 360. It doesn't. Brings me right back to that window. You can see he's startled. So that's what I have for you guys. Let me take it out of 360. Let's watch it one more time. See, from here you can kind of see the shadows because of the contrast. But that is a definitive person. There's no mistaking that. And this light doesn't move though. None of these shadows match the trees. None of the shadows match the wall. something is right there. What it is, I don't know, but it's something. Which leads me to believe my original theory, and that is that Carter is the one that let him in. When you see Carter walking in, granted we don't know the time frame, but I'm pretty convinced that Carter let him in. So that's what I have for you guys. Let me know what you think of this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Have a great day. Now, what I would like you guys to do is please leave your comments below. Good, bad, or indifferent. I just want to know what you guys think of the light. And that's it. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful night. Bye. And justice for Cash. And I'm going to take you through it as I go through the video. Very, very important, though, to focus on nothing else and just focus on what I'm going to show you guys. It's really interesting. It's scary. It's interesting. It's everything bogged up into one. Okay, so this case kind of needs no introduction, but let's go ahead and give it anyway. What I'm going to focus on is Cash GERNON. If you're living under a rock and you're not sure who it is, he was the 4-year-old boy that was taken from Dallas, Texas, right from his crib. The video is everywhere. I have a piece of that video that I'm going to show. He was abducted on May 15th around 5 a.m. by Darian Brown, who about an hour and 45 minutes later found out that the boy was discovered laying on the street by a jogger. He was completely covered in blood. He was cut really bad. He was stabbed multiple times. There were ants on his feet. That's how the woman knew that he was dead. And it's really a tragic story.